Title: Across the Tracks. A story of love, loss, and the divides that shape us. Chapter 1: A town split in two. Brookside, a quiet American town, was divided by more than just the railroad tracks that ran through its heart. On the east side were the grand Victorian houses, manicured lawns, and families who held influence: doctors, business owners, and politicians. On the west side, the roads were cracked, the homes were smaller, and people worked hard just to get by. Jack Carter, a 17-year-old boy with grease-stained hands and a stubborn spirit, lived in a small house on the west side with his father, who ran a struggling auto shop. Since his mother had left years ago, Jack had grown up fast, fixing cars and helping put food on the table. Across town, Emily Lawson, also 17, lived in a pristine white house with a wraparound porch. As the mayor's daughter, she was expected to be perfect, polite, talented, and obedient. She spent her days practicing piano, attending charity events, and preparing for a future she wasn't sure she wanted. Jack and Emily had never spoken, but fate had a way of crossing paths that were never meant to meet. Chapter 2: The Fairground Encounter. Every summer, Brookside hosted a county fair, bringing together families from both sides of town. Jack was there to work, fixing a broken carnival ride, when he first noticed Emily. She was standing near the carousel, laughing at something her friends said, her golden hair catching the sunlight. Emily, tired of the same conversations and expectations, wandered away from her group and ended up near Jack, who was tightening bolts on a rusted Ferris wheel. She watched him work, fascinated by the way he moved with such confidence. "Are you always this focused?" she asked, surprising him. Jack turned, wiping his hands on a rag. "When I don't want the ride to fall apart, yeah." She smiled. "That's a good answer." Something about her curiosity, her easy confidence, intrigued Jack. And for Emily, the boy with the grease-stained hands and piercing blue eyes, was unlike anyone she had ever met. They talked for only a few minutes before she was called away, but neither could forget the conversation. Chapter 3: The Bridge Between Them. In the weeks that followed, Jack and Emily found ways to meet in secret. Their favorite spot was an old wooden bridge just past the edge of town, where the tracks ran below. There, away from the judging eyes of Brookside, they learned about each other's worlds. Jack taught Emily how to ride a dirt bike, and she read him passages from her favorite books. He told her about his dream of leaving town and starting his own garage, while she confessed that she didn't want to be a politician's perfect daughter, she wanted to be a musician. "You could do it, you know," Jack told her one night, sitting beside her on the bridge, their legs dangling over the edge. "Leave this place. Play your music somewhere big." She looked at him, searching his face. "What if I wanted to leave with you?" Jack's heart pounded, but he hesitated. He knew the town wouldn't let them be together. Chapter 4: The Rift Grows. Their secret meetings couldn't stay hidden forever. Jack's father noticed his late nights and warned him, "Son, people like us don't mix with people like them. She's not for you." Emily's mother found a note Jack had left in one of her books. That night, her parents sat her down. "You are not to see that boy again," her father said. "He's not your future." But they didn't listen. Their love was reckless, the kind that burned bright despite the inevitable storm. One evening, Jack and Emily met at the bridge again. She was crying. "They're making me leave," she whispered. "My father's sending me to a boarding school in Boston. I don't have a choice." Jack clenched his fists. "Then come with me." Emily looked up, hope flickering in her eyes. "You mean that?" "I'll get my dad's truck. We'll leave tonight." They made a plan. Midnight, at the tracks. Chapter 5: A Love Cut Short. That night, Jack packed his bag and waited near the tracks, heart pounding. Minutes passed. Then an hour. Emily never came. Instead, he saw the glow of headlights pulling out of her driveway. She was gone. Jack stood there for a long time, his chest hollow. He had known it was a foolish dream, but he had wanted to believe. Chapter 6: Years Later. Time passed. Jack took over his father's shop, making a name for himself as one of the best mechanics in town. Emily's family never returned to Brookside. One rainy afternoon, Jack stopped by the town library to pick up a part-time job fixing their heating system. While waiting, he wandered into the reading section. That's when he saw it, one of Emily's old books, sitting on a dusty shelf. He flipped it open, and a folded note slipped out. "Meet me at the bridge, one last time." Jack swallowed hard, staring at the words. But he already knew the answer. Some love stories don't get a happy ending. But that doesn't mean they weren't real.